Who's a horrible live band? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
Other than Blink,
other than Blink, who's horrible live band? Good
I don't
studio
know.
band, but horrible live band.
I don't know this from personal experience, but one of my coworkers, she went and saw Hall & Oates. I think it was about.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
Maybe it was like 10 years ago, and she said it was the worst. They could not sing at all.
You're lucky your family. You know that?
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm just Doc Hall & Oates on my show.
Steve sat up in his chair. Steve sat up in his chair and said, "Don't you do it."
I've watched every episode of Daryl's House, and they're awesome.
They are awesome, but for whatever reason, she said it was horrible.
Probably going back can't stand each other.
Going back to your Warrant story, another band that I would put in there for me personally is Cinderella. Cinderella was one of my favorite all-time bands, but one of the reasons is it was 1998 and it was December. Peoria, Illinois. They're playing at this shithole bar across the street from the Peoria Civic Center. No, literally. It was called the Infirmary. I don't know. Luke, do you remember? Do you remember, Luke? Or it was right across the street.
That's great.
But anyway, 1998 December, it had snowed like 6 or 8 inches that day. Nobody was at the show. If there was 40 people there, I might be exaggerating. I sat with a buddy of mine who we braved the snow because they hadn't plowed yet or anything. And I sat probably 10 feet from the stage. We sat there drinking in my bar stool. They put on the best show. It was exactly like I had seen them at the Civic Center, 10 years earlier. And they just came out and they killed it. And there's literally 30 people there or whatever. So, and they had my ultimate respect after that.
So now, let me sidetrack there. It's kind of a weird thing as far as Warrant, Cinderella, that era. When I went and saw that Rock Never Stops tour, Warrant followed LA Guns. So
yeah,
we didn't really care about LA Guns. They're there. But we knew that Warrant was after them. So we went and got some good positions there, me and my buddy, right until the end of their set. LA Guns finished. Roadies come out, start changing things. The Warrant backdrop goes up. Got the barbed wire and stuff. Sure. And then this heavyset roadie comes out and starts playing guitar and standing in front of the microphone and just kind of vocalizing and doing some stuff. And then he starts singing. And I'm like, okay. Good on you, Mr. Roadie. Rock on. No one really knows what's going on.
It's Janie Lane.
And then he starts singing, She's Only 17.
Oh, Kip Winger.
Oh. And then when he's done, he's like, hey, I'm Kip Winger. And the crowd erupts in laughter. It was the most embarrassing. I was embarrassed for him. I feel bad for the dude. I mean, it was humiliating. Everyone. And I mean, I'm not talking like thousands of people. Yeah, maybe 100, 200 people. It's Ottawa, Illinois. It wasn't like Madison Square Garden. But still, the fact that there was a Warrant backdrop up and it was still in the middle of the instrumental change as far as they're changing out the drum set, they're changing out everything else. And then he didn't look like any other thing other than a roadie. I mean, everyone thought he was just a roadie. It was so embarrassing. I felt bad for the dude. All you could do was slow clap for him.
Yeah.
God.
Can we include aged folks?
As in?
Bob Dylan.
Oh, my Bob Dylan concert.
Bob Dylan is horrible live. But hey, 40 years ago, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, you watch The Last Waltz, and it's a great couple of the songs. I mean, that's most of what I know of him. live in the olden days. I couldn't tell you another one, but I mean, I did see him live in Atlanta, and it was not good. I mean,
and Paul McCartney, love the Beatles to death. Modern Paul McCartney
puts on an amazing show.
He's got the energy, yes, but because he has
the
the vocals.
Of an 80-year-old man.
Voice. He has the voice of yes himself.
Got that warbling thing going on when you hear him in concert.
He relies heavily on his band, and I can't fault him for that. You know, good backup singers and whatnot. But at least he has the energy to run up and down the stage and sing the crowd favorites. Bob Dylan didn't give a rat's ass.
Sure. But still, those are two that come to mind. But I don't know if it counts because they've been around for forever.
Yeah, they're like 80.
Yep.
Yeah, so but if you're 80 and you're still playing to crowds looking to see you, as far as I'm concerned, play what the crowd wants to hear. Sprinkle some new stuff in if you want, but play what the crowd wants to hear.
Sure.
Because when I saw Bob Dylan, I saw hundreds of people like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean that's all they were doing. The entire
their
show.
Portfolios.
Whereas Paul McCartney down there at Phillips Arena, whatever it's called now, I can't remember. But downtown Atlanta, everyone was rocking. Garth Brooks. I saw Garth Brooks at Mercedes-Benz Stadium a couple years ago on its first concert ever, the brand new football stadium downtown Atlanta. Garth Brooks, obviously a legend in itself, but bless him, he put on a bad show. But he didn't put on a bad show. Mercedes-Benz put on a bad show.
Mm.
Garth was awesome.
Uh-huh.
They had the roof closed, and Garth is loud. They did not know how to properly sound Garth Brooks. It was bad. I mean, every single echo you can imagine. When he says, "And the thunder rolls," you're hearing thunder rolls like 8 different times from 8 different echoes. It was that bad.
Wow.
That's the sound guy's
It is.
fault, though.
It is. You're absolutely right. It was the very first concert in a brand new stadium, and I'm told that they have worked out sound issues since then, but it's just a shame. And the fact that they had because it's a retractable roof, they had the retractable roof closed, that added a whole other level of echo, and it was just that bad. And it's a shame because we were lower. I'll admit it. We got tickets from a season ticket holder, so we were only like 2 echoes up rather than 8 echoes up.
Mm.
Yeah.
But we still got some of the echo. You know, when he would sing, we could see his mouth moving well before the sound hit. But it's just a shame because he's a legendary singer and performer. It was the only time I've ever seen him, but the venue itself fucked it up.
Mm.
I can tie in my question since we're talking about touring. If you want to hear
Go for
that,
it.
So I'm not. Basically, my question boils down to who's going to be filling these concert arenas in 10 years. And the reason I'm asking is because the Stones are going to finally be off the road.
You sure about that?
Yeah, exactly. Elton John. I mean, like, these guys are going to be off the road. What band is going to be the nostalgia band or good enough or big enough to bring people to see them?
Pearl Jam comes to mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're
Chili Peppers, maybe.
But
Yep,
then again,
absolutely, Chili Peppers. Dude, they put out 2 double albums this year. In 1 year, 2 double
That's
albums.
unfortunate.
Red Hot Chili Peppers put out 2 double albums?
Yes, in 1 year. I shouldn't even say 1 year, 6 months.
Wow.
It's
I'll
insane.
check those out. Are
Yep.
they any good? They dope?
I thought the first album was great. So second album just came out last week. I pre-ordered it and it's still not here. So I haven't really gotten a chance to listen to it all the way through. I've listened to the clips online, but I'm kind of one of those purists. I want to put the record on the
so those are
turntable.
2.
No, but I'm with you. I don't know who's going to fill them.
I'm thinking U2.
Does Green Day still perform? Are they together? Or
I
no?
believe
Oh,
so.
that'd
Yeah.
be a good-
Foo
good one.
Fighters. Foo Fighters for sure. I mean, I know Taylor just died, but I think
Okay.
Dave's got it in his soul. You know, he's gonna play until he dies. So I think Foo Fighters would be one. Queens of the Stone Age are still kicking. They not many people know they've been around since the early '90s. You know,
They put out albums so infrequently, though.
yeah, but
they kinda lose
they've got
touch with-
they've got another one in the can.
But are they a big
Yeah.
enough draw?
I
Are they playing arenas on their own?
yeah, oh,
package
absolutely.
deal.
Queens of the Stone Age are for sure.
So what's the criteria to fill these arenas in your opinion? Is it just catalog frequency, just like cohesiveness? Like what is
Well, if you think no, I'm just wondering in general, like who's gonna carry it forward? Who's big enough to fill mid-size to the huge arenas? You know, like the big outdoor stuff.
Well, Blink 182, we were just talking about. They're selling
Oh.
tickets for $1,500. Seriously, that's if those tickets are selling,
yeah, I
they're
mean
the nostalgia bands. That's what it will be in 10 years.
I think what Al's looking for though is the guys in their 20s that are set to be who can be the next generation. And I don't particularly know that because I mean because arena is a key word there. I mean, you think arena rock or arena filling. I mean, you know, the first thing that comes to mind is the levels of Queen or Springsteen or others, guys that filled arenas and changed the game. You know, Van Halen. Is there a
Well,
current?
let's just say 80s and 90s. Who's left from 80s and 90s even who could do that? Like
Pearl
Tom
Jam.
Petty, he's dead.
Pearl Jam and Foo Fighters are selling out
Soundgarden,
not only arenas but
Chris
but
Cornell's dead.
baseball stadiums. And that's not just the seats of the baseball stadium, that's the
Pearl
field.
Jam, I can see that.
Pearl Jam is up there. Pearl Jam has that Grateful Dead style following, and they're going to go on for another 10 to 20 years.
I feel like they're not going to tour Pearl.
I don't know if anyone on this current.
I don't think they're going to feel it. I don't
on this live stream can speak.
I really don't.
They might break up. They might. But I don't know if anyone on this live stream is capable of speaking of this. Keith, I don't know you well. Jamal, I don't know you well.
No, I don't think they'll ever break up. I think Eddie's just sick of it.
Yeah,
I think they will go the round of side projects, and then they'll come back and do some more tours. Which because they're smart enough to do that. Mm-hmm. They've been around the game long enough to know that.
It sounds like they've got another album in the can.
Yeah,
with Andrew Watt.
Well,
Andrew Watt is killing it, man. And his albums, and they see, I'm sidetracking here, so I apologize. But Andrew Watt, if you listen to his albums on a hi-fi system, they sound like garbage. He is not a great producer, in my opinion, but he can get people in there and record quick and record radio friendly type songs. So and that leads back to you should look up Andrew Watt. See all the huge acts that he's done in the last few years. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah.
Well,
where were you going prior to that, Luke? You were going with you don't know who anyone can speak to this on the live stream.
Country
music.
There are a lot of country acts that are filling baseball stadiums as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't listen to country. It's not my cup of tea, but there are a lot of nostalgia acts there for sure.
And the new acts are actually selling.
Yep.
Huge.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Garth Brooks filled Benz. I mean,
do you think he'll be kicking in his 80s like Bob Dylan and Paul McCartney?
I don't think he'll be doing the Paul McCartney style, you know, sprinting up and down the stage style thing. I think he might be more intimate as far as let me scale it back and give you some acoustic versions without the band of my classic hits sort of thing, which I will still pay money to see because I do enjoy Garth Brooks, but I like you said I don't have the in-depth knowledge of new country to comment on that. I just don't.
Neither do I, but I know there are a lot of people selling out huge arenas and ballparks.
I will throw out some names though. Namely, Kings of Leon and Black Keys. I think that both have the ability to do arena style tours and fill them out. If they have the newer albums to back it up. But I don't think Kings of Leon, I think will. I think they will try at least, but I don't think they'll have some long-standing decades. Black Keys, I think, will shy away from that because that's not their thing. They prefer the festival circuit or the smaller
They don't have the
smaller
sound.
event.
They
They
don't have the
do.
sound
Well, no, that's the thing. That is one of the loudest bands I've ever heard in my life.
Just two dudes.
It's amazing. It's
Sure.
like the White Stripes. How can you get so much sound
Local
out of
H.
two people? It's phenomenal. They
Sure.
can do it. It's just whether or not they choose to do it. I mean, Simon and Garfunkel sold out arenas. Come on. I mean,
But
that sound,
they weren't they weren't a rock band. Their instruments were their vocals. So if you're
Mhm.
playing blues music, yes, the Black Keys can fill speakers with raunchy guitar and smashing drums. But I guess
if you're
I'd
going
never
with
been
just
to one.
popularity, then your answer's Taylor Swift. We're going back to Tay
There
Tay.
you go. Yes, that's a perfect answer.
I'm going to throw a kink
Seriously,
in the conversation by putting this question up.
that is huge.
Are there any younger artists that have a desire to build a career like Pearl Jam?